Alright, let's talk thumbnails. I've analyzed hundreds of them, so you don't have to, and try to understand what makes a good thumbnail. What works, what brings clicks, and what makes people stop scrolling. And good news, there's more than one way to make a great thumbnail. In fact, I narrowed it down to 3 different styles to help your channel no matter what niche you're in. Yes, I said niche, not niche, because it sounds French. First up, we got the MrBeast style. Loud, in your face, high energy. This is all about drama.
Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
Big bold text, intense colors, and wild expressions. Think MrBeast, of course, but also Airrack and Logan Paul. They're all masters of the big, bold, and unmissable. But how do we do it?
Glad you asked. Start by isolating the subject from the background. I use the pen tool in Photoshop. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're not gonna put it up on a billboard near our house. People are mostly gonna be seeing it on their phone, so don't worry about it. Grab the patch tool. We're gonna do a 20 years worth skin routine in 5 minutes. Circle around, drag it to a cleaner spot on your face, and get rid of all the dark spots and blemishes. To blend it even better, use Clone Stamp tool. Lower its opacity, take a sample from a closer spot by pressing Alt-click, then paint. Next step, curves. Command M to bring up this window and make a kind of an S shape. Higher part is for highlights, lower part is for shadows, and the middle part, you guessed it, it's for midtones. Command B for color balance. Let's play around a little bit. Now it's closer to my real skin tone. The non-destructive way to do all this would be adding adjustment layers on top of the original and then masking them or whatever. But I'm like YOLO when it comes to thumbnails, so I'm mostly gonna do it the destructive way. Instead of having a layers apocalypse over here, you can make most of the adjustments in Camera Raw filter and still can go back to change them later. Copy your layer and go back to Camera Raw filter, but this time change the texture all the way to here. It's okay, it's supposed to look ridiculous at this point. Let's make a clipping mask, invert, and paint the areas with a brush and leave the lines and other details alone. Then make a new layer, sample a color from your face, and start contouring. You can also use dodge and burn tool if that's easier. We're basically makeup artists at this point. Make another layer, grab your brush, place 2 blue dots on your irises, or yellow if you have dark eyes, then blend. Bring out highlights with dodge tool, but don't forget to check the mode. Pick a contrast background, blur it a bit to create depth. Slap a gradient fill to bring out your subject. Sometimes I choose similar color with the background, sometimes the opposite. Sometimes I want the subject to just glow, but a contrast color brings it out more. Make another layer, grab a soft brush, highlight the edge of your subject, keeping in mind where the light is coming from. Bring in other elements. Use the same techniques you just learned to color correct them. And you're done. This is the final I went with for my Halloween video. If you want to watch it, it's somewhere up there.
Next up is the minimal style. This one's the cool kid of thumbnails.
How do you do, fellow kids?
It's about keeping it clean, keeping it classy, just one clear image, minimal text, maybe even no text. This style is great if your vibe is a little more refined. Think MK for tech, Matt Devala for that minimalist vibe, or even Ali Abdaal. This style works because it says, I don't need to shout. I know you're curious enough to click. But how do we do it?
Excellent question! For this one, we're gonna use a photo that was taken by a 9-year-old with an iPhone. Shout out to Out of This World for the help. Click on Select Subject if you want to isolate yourself from the background easily, but I'm gonna be using the pen tool instead because I like to torture myself. It's gonna take a while, hold on. Alright, now right-click, make selection, leave the feather at 0 and hit OK. Go up there and click Select and Mask to refine the edges if you have messy hair like me. Done. Right-click on the selected area and layer via copy. Grab a clear blue sky from Google search or whatever you like, just make sure it's not a busy image. Curves and color balance to match the overall look of those 2 elements. Burn and dodge tool to make it pop a bit more. I took a screenshot of my timeline and brought it in. Then I cleaned up the dark edges with the magic wand tool. Made an adjustment layer for hue saturation. Command T to transform, right click and choose perspective. Looking much cooler now. Double click on the layer and pick outer glow. You can change the color and the other settings right in here. I picked a color from the timeline and grabbed a soft brush to paint on my face to create a subtle reflection. These tiny details actually make a huge difference with the overall look. Don't forget to blend. At this point, for some weird reason, I tried different colors for the background, but don't worry, I think I'm gonna go back to the sky. Make a new layer under your main element, right-click on the tiny image over here to easily select the shape of it, then fill it with a darker tone. Give it a bit of a blur. Apparently, I'm not super happy with the background, so I decide to make it even worse. Don't worry, we'll fix it later. Now we're making shapes with the shape tool. We're gonna add some text on them. That font hurts. Let's never use it. Slap a circle here and put an arrow on it. I drew mine with pen tool. Then same thing on the right, but with different color. Juxtaposition really works when it comes to thumbnails, we all know that. I told you the sky would be back. You'd never listen to me. And we're pretty much done. It didn't even take half an hour. You're welcome. Next. Okay, this video is taking forever, I know, but I swear the last one is even easier.
Curiosity hook style. This one plays it mysterious.
No, I'm building a mystery.
Just enough information to make you wonder what's going on, but not enough to give it all away. But how do we do it?
Thought you never asked! For this one, we're making a gaming thumbnail with my favorite game of all time. Wow, Hads Unite! First, I grabbed a dark portal image for the background because nothing screams mystery like a giant ominous glowing doorway. Then I removed the characters with the content-aware fill for a cleaner look. Oops! No worries, I hit up generative fill, thank you AI overlords, and bam! Cleaner than my search history. Or not. But that's another conversation. Next, I brought in an attractive blood elf because... for artistic integrity, obviously. Also, for the horde! I gave the background a bit of Gaussian blur to add that sweet cinematic look. I typed in my message, big, bold, and dramatic, and added a bit of outer glow for now. But don't get too comfy, I have plans for this text. Stay with me. The front elements weren't popping enough, so I added an adjustment layer to suck some saturation out of the background. Time for the real magic, class icons. Now disclaimer, I haven't played this game in years. What's the best class these days? No clue. I'm just here to make thumbnails. I'm choosing Warlock because purple vibes. But don't worry, we're ruining it with a mosaic filter for ultimate curiosity. What's hiding under those pixels? Is it the rarest gear ever or just disappointment? Only one way to find out. Back to the text. I grabbed a screenshot of the original WoW buttons and made it bigger. Cleaned up the original text and replaced it with my own message using a similar font. Here's a design tip. Familiarity equals clicks. After playing around with drop shadows and extra glows, because we love glowing things around here, I decided it needed more drama. Enter lightning bolts. Oh, you know what Warcraft players love? Yellow question marks. If you're not clicking this thumbnail, are you even handing in quests? There's no such thing as too much glow, write that down. So after positioning everything just right, I added the original game logo. A little to the left. Nope, back to the right. Perfect. Now for the final touches, a contrast gradient fill in the background to make everything pop, saturation cranked up, and the cherry on top, I selected our charming blood elf prince, created a new layer, filled it with black, and boom! Mystery achieved. Thumbnail complete. Clicks incoming.
There you go, your very own scroll-stopping thumbnail. Play around, experiment with these styles, and I'll catch you in the next one. I don't know why I did that. That was weird. Whatever.